Welcome to my pathway to literacy. And just a warning, my computer literacy is under par, so be prepared for many stock photos. My literacy life is a mixed bag of experiences. When I was a toddler and a young child, my parents encouraged reading books in the car on road trips, and would read to my siblings and me every night. There was one time where my father read the Harry Potter series to me aloud as bedtime stories. They were typically interrupted by him falling asleep before I did. Spoiler alert, even though I returned to the series as an adult, I have yet to finish it. Perhaps it was the draw of video games and TV that stymied my literary development, because such practices did not transfer over well later on. Reading in my youth soon became a sporadic and only contingent on my schoolwork. Quite honestly, it was rather tough. Receiving poor Lexile reading scores, doing poorly in English, and being bored and confused with any assigned reading selections made me think that I wasn't good enough to read. All the bad signs discouraged me to read outside of school and its assignments. I wasn't ultimately a bad kid. My speaking abilities were excellent, as my teachers gleefully accepted my participation. But reading comprehension and speed were regularly behind. My mom noticed this troubled behavior and pushed me to read more in hopes of enhancing my skills with literacy. I remember when I told her that I read 2 books of the Spiderwick Chronicles in one day, she beamed with pride. Unfortunately, such experiences didn't help much in my elementary and middle school years, scraping by with good achievement but little skill. My literary practices began to slightly change in high school when I joined drama club. Theater became a passion of mine as it allowed for stories to literally come to life. I saw textual pieces as a whole story now and focused less on the details. This skill transferred over to how I read novels in other classes, as I focused on the story. I developed strategies for reading and memorizing information, and in general, I increased my breadth of literature that was important and that I equally enjoyed. College brought another development in my literacy, with the development of critical literacy. In a historical methods course, my professor broke down how to situate and read a historical monograph for its intent, structure, and research. It opened my eyes to how to read a text in its context, and these skills were some of the most transferable. In every class since then, I've been able to note key elements of a text and why they are significant. Still, I never really quite enjoyed reading and didn't pursue many literary opportunities outside of school. Reading is still pretty boring and tedious to me, as I still read slowly and get drawn to the details. However, my adverse relationship to reading and literacy will never overturn my respect for it. As I grow into the role of an educator, I know that I must instill at least a similar respect for the power of literacy in my students. It is essential for their social survival to be critically literate in order for them to make properly informed decisions. An aversion to literacy does not excuse not learning and practicing the necessary skills. Even if I never develop a love of reading that many others may feel, the understanding of the importance of reading will always remain with me.